points lead.
Opening matchup between SandBox and XALee.
Yeah, absolutely. SandBox, he's just one of my favorite players of all time. The way he plays RG, the way he controls the map, I think he is absolutely so brilliant, and I love seeing him.
And you have to believe that the fans behind him really are looking for him to capitalize on these opportunities today.
Yeah.
As we see XALee go lava, as we've seen him go many times before, what is it about SandBox's Royal Giant play style that leads to his success?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just, it's the same thing with Rubén. They have such an intense understanding of the macro and how you're supposed to play every situation. When other players are
coming out in the lava deck for XALee.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fun card, do not get me wrong. I absolutely do love that card. But we're seeing right here, it just feels like he doesn't really have the correct DPS. XALee struggling a lot. That is an Evo RG on top of the tower. It's going to get at least another shot. It absolutely does.
Final 30 seconds and a little bit less in the quarter. And we see some of that Evo Hunter getting into its work. Lava Hound getting in pretty deep as the curse doesn't quite clear off the Hunter. And that is a couple of elixirs spent that did not do its job whatsoever. RG should turn. Does it get one shot? No, the Evo Val
bends everything beautifully. He's only taking 500 damage on the left, 300 damage on the right, and now we have another Monk in tow, not going to be able to pop the ability. But XALee, I mean, the Goblin Hut, I don't love that placement. I think it's going to be too easy for him to get spell value, and we see that just needs to cycle to a fire.
And as you said, SandBox just a little cycle away. XALee knows it's already over. GG, well played. Game one for SandBox barely broke a sweat. Options to control the drill, especially given that this is a regular drill, not Evo.
Yeah, he absolutely has a ton of options, and I mean, really, SandBox is looking to get, you know, two, maybe even one. He's trying to get two good offensive pushes, and then the
shift away and looking to try to make this a quick one to open up our contest today. And continues as the poisons get good value on both the Ghost, the Hunter, and the Tower. Triple spell, you know, I didn't call it out earlier, Josh, and the triple spell here was a little bit interesting, and it is working out wonderfully for SandBox.
Yeah, and finally XALee, now that we're hitting triple elixir, he's able to cycle his RGs, he's able to put some sort of offensive pressure on top of him. But SandBox, I mean, he's got the drill, he's got the Tesla, he's got every answer that you could possibly have. And
out of XALee, as he knows the lay of the land now, does not get the RG shot, the Tesla there, just in time, and SandBox going to kick off our day with a clean 2-0 and a really stalwart performance at the end to prevent the Royal Giants from connecting in triple elixir.
I think even though they are close in skill level, I'm going to change my earlier answer. I do think it should be 85-15. I expect a win from Mugi today. Well, these two players, they are just so talented, and they're talented at different parts. We have Mohamed, who's obviously just absolutely incredible, knows every single sort of interaction you could possibly know. But then Mugi's kind of claim to fame is that he, like the world stage, that's where he wants to back
to win that championship. So Mugi loves to be at a stage in Clash Royale League where he's facing Ardentoas.
Yeah. And right there, Evo Firecracker placed at the bridge, and this is going to be a pretty healthy push. The Evo Snowball, or the Evo Tesla plus the Snowball, it's not going to be enough so far, and with the help of the Bar Barrel, this RG is going to get onto tower, and Mugi is struggling right now. This could be it. The Bar plus the RG plus the Lightning, game one, going to Ardentoas. Beautiful. Yeah, the Boss Bandit is easily one of the scariest cards inside the entire game. It's so terrifying every single time it gets played. I just feel like there's a loss incoming, and honestly, so far it's been reigning true. Usually I'm losing when that card is going against me. Troops, all I need to do is go the hog opposite lane, and there we go. We saw a lot of chip damage coming in from him, and this time the Earthquake is going to be on the same side as the Hog, and this is a massive push. A huge mistake coming in from Arden.
We're trying to predict a high catch and putting the earthquake up high for that reason. But even then, you still think you get the tower damage. Hog doesn't connect, but the Evo Firecracker, absolute snipe job, 610 on the right-hand side. Firecracker, absolute snipe job, 610 on the right-hand side.
And right here, this is the push for Ardentoas. Can he protect his cannon? He won't be able to, so he's going to have to log on defense when he has the opportunity. Log coming in right now. This is a massive push. Arden trying
to attract the EPU to get a connection on the left-hand lane. Fireball to clear. Mortar connects. Huge mortar connection. Log trying to keep the goblins away from the Hog, and Hog will go a couple of hits and even this thing up at 1-1. And Dagger Duchess for Ardentoas. Yeah,
beautiful ability. Yeah. Beautiful ability right there from the Boss Bandit. Going to take out the Battle Ram and still have about 25% health with the Rage trying to give him some sort of offensive position, but Mugi.
Feeling about the chances for Arden in this matchup.
Yeah, I think one thing that I really want to look at is that the P.E.K.K.A. isn't the evolution. I feel like if it was the evolution, that might help him, but because it's just a regular P.E.K.K.A., it makes me feel so much worse. I'm feeling absolutely fantastic if I'm Mugi.
Lumberjack a little late to the party on that defense for the Giant on the right-hand side. And Ardentoas pulling out to a lead, 1750, as that Giant got quite a lot of work done on the right-hand side after Mugi cycled the P.E.K.K.A. on the left.
Right there, pretty big push, and no Ewism cycle just yet. Does not have the elixir for it. Are we going to see?
Oh boy.
Okay. Able to get the E-Wiz out just
all the way out, so there's not much that can be done. He's starting to push. Lumberjack right up front, guards to hold. Boss Bandit will do some work, but now that Dagger Duchess is putting this thing right back in contention. 13-26, Dagger Duchess still low. Evo Battle Ram on the board, final 90 seconds, gets the one hit. Lead now for Mugi, 753 under 600, and that Duchess completely empty, running on fumes, about to crash into the mountain, and that is it. Mugi comes from behind and shuts it down against Ardentoas.
Wow. Just fantastic from him. It's crazy. The first thing that I think of when I think of sub is top 4. It just feels like whenever he's playing a tournament, he might not win them, and he might not even win them consistently, but he will be there. He will be fighting against the best players of the world. He will take a game and give himself an opportunity. He will finish top 4. The
way that these two guys match up today.
Yeah, this is, it's so tough. It is so much closer than the community predicted.
As he has the 2-lane damage Hog into the left-hand side, cage to cover. And that should, with the King Tower's help, it wasn't a perfect placement on the cage.
Sub, he's just kind of doing the same thing, and that's all that needs to happen. Lucas, I believe he just needs to kind of wait for triple elixir or wait for a mistake. And right there, the E-Giant making it to tower, getting it down to 21-19, almost eating alive. This is way too easy for them.
Evo Inferno in the back, Cage trying to hold. EQ getting the Hog through, 11 seconds left. No way to break through. EQ will just make sure the gap is enough. Log to clear, and Sub going to take game number 1 as the script is flipped. Things slowing down a bit after the opening salvos, although now Lucas maybe heard me and decided to go full send.
And right here, I mean, the Berserker, as great a card as it is. Oh, and right there, very nice interaction. The Evo snowball with the Evo bump.
The troops right back to his drill. And Lucas just showing off some of the brilliance and thought process and turning that into a massive connection. And suddenly, this game is completely turned upside down.
Yeah. That was absolutely the play of the day so far. I've never, I mean, I've seen advantage. And Evo Bomber should be close to getting in the cycle. Might not matter getting it down to 24 HP. Yep.
And GG, Evo Snowball.
Coming in from Lucas.
You know, when you think about this Evo Wizard, though, you have the ability to contend with a Skeleton Barrel. There is lots of splashy stuff, or lots of swarmy stuff on the board. And then now we get some protection with the Monk right in front. Evo Wizard creating a problem here.
Yeah, this is an absolute massive push coming in from Lucas, the Monk, doing a beautiful job of protection.
Mortar up high, pressure now moving on the side of Sub, trying to play the catch-up game, getting some damage in. 1773 on the right-hand tower. Cannoneer just taking its time. Elimination yet, but of course you want to play from the upper bracket as long as you can. Sub now with the log out. Earthquake to cover, but that's going to be some good damage. Skeleton King still going. 1591 mortar at the bridge. Will it get a connection? Yes, it will. Lucas has to be careful not making any major errors here. Evo Tesla to cover. And that should be enough to get things done. Log will go ahead behind, and Sub knows he gave himself a shot at the end, but not quite enough. Lucas gonna continue on in our upper bracket.
Necessary hit, and just one of those mistakes that we don't often see from him. I kind of want to write a letter to Supercell and say, like, hey, why did you allow him to make that mistake, instead of recognizing that he made a mistake. Just, it feels wrong to say that.
And now Royal Giant down in front of the Evo Wizard. Lightning will clear the Wizard out of the back. RG should get at least one, maybe gets a second.
Lightning's coming down, so we're going to have to see how Mohamed Light wants to approach this defense right now.
Monk able to get some reflection out of those arrows. Holding court there in the middle as DPS able to absolutely shred that Goblin Giant, and now Royal Giant in front of an Evo Wizard. Fish Boy behind to pull the P.E.K.K.A. E-Spirit to stun. RG gets pulled way in. Evolve going to do a lot of damage and some knockback. Arrows trying to stop the damage, but Mohamed Light running absolutely downhill, and with 1 second left in the round, he clears the tower and wins game number 1. And speaking of Kitashiyan, we haven't seen as much of him at the higher levels of competitive for a while. He did have that #1 finish on ladder last year. His CRL career was primarily focused on 2v2. He played through FAV Gaming's Asian Championship season back in 2019. He and Kensumeshi
are in the world. So earlier we saw the Monk get activated, not get the proper chip damage on top of the Archer Queen, allowed it to activate its own ability a little bit too easily. Right here, much better interaction, using the guards to take out the AQ,
puts a little more damage on here. And that's one of the things we saw earlier in the Lucas match, was the Evo Wizard was getting up to and even crossing the bridge with the shield still on, and adding just that little extra pressure. And Mohamed Light making sure that's not the case in this one. A gap to just over 100 HP.
Yeah, and right there, Ice Spirit not getting the chip damage. This is just so difficult for Mohamed Light to get on top of the tower. And as I say that, all the Royal Hogs chipping away at the tower, getting it down to 651. I have no idea how that happened. Kitashiyan has
even elixir for this oncoming push.
Right there, beautiful delivery. Cannon plus the delivery will take out not enough. The Ice Spirit is going to help, obviously, but will need to defend with the delivery.
Cannon up high. He needs to cycle fast and try to beat out the spell situation. Log going to be down. Hog doesn't connect, and that's GG. Well played. Easy day at the office for Mohamed Light.
We're going to see Mugi answering my prayers.
Magic Archer working from the back. Kind of standard here to get the cleanup. And NATO now will get good value. Tower and 2 troops. As the Evo Witch continues to create pressure. Big opening salvo from Mugi.
Yeah, and right there, kind of a mistake with the bar barrel. Not exactly sure how he should have placed it. Maybe on top of the ghost.
Our points leader currently in the lead in game 1 against Rubén.
Bar barrel to take out the Magic Archer and get a little bit of offensive pressure. Not going to work exactly the way he was looking for. This Magic Archer, I mean, it doesn't do a ton of damage. I mean, it's almost lined up on the tower. But luckily, Mugi not taking any chip damage. And these witches, when they're working together, you don't have a big spell. There is a very few sites that are scary.
Evo Snowball kind of gives a reset to the evolved witch. Graveyard with no support. But the longer that Mugi keeps the Evo witch on the board here, the better things we get for him. Our points leader currently in the lead in game 1 against Rubén.
Bar barrel to take out the Magic Archer and get a little bit of offensive pressure. Not going to work exactly the way he was looking for. This Magic Archer, I mean, it doesn't do a ton of damage. I mean, it's almost lined up on the tower. But luckily, Mugi not taking any chip damage. And these witches, when they're working together, you don't have a big spell. There is a very few sites that are scary.
Evo Snowball kind of gives a reset to the evolved witch. Graveyard with no support. But the longer that Mugi keeps the Evo witch on the board here, the better things we get for him. Back to another.
Another Evo witch, but this is, once it gets down to almost triple elixir, real close, you know your opponent is trying to get that one huge Golden Knight dash, but no NATO in from sub. This entire time I thought he had NATO. Instead, just going all defense, and so far it's working, but I feel like you really need the NATO in these kind of decks. You want that last dash onto the tower.
And that was a nice Magic Archer out of sub. Yes, it got taken out by the Evo Witch, but recognizing the poison out of cycle, made a free Magic Archer on the board. It did. But now Graveyard Poison going to start adding to that tally on the left-hand side. 45 seconds left, and now going to be around 800, just north of 800 points.
The
and
dash.
The Golden Knight gets all the way in. Wow.
Yeah, that's why you basically don't even need NATO. Mugi is going to have to absolutely watch out for these bridge Magic Archers, the Evo Valve coming in, and it's going to clean that up. There's still one extra cannon cart. The Witch does take it out. We need the bar barrel. We need something. Another Golden Knight dash could be on its way. It's not going to make it to the tower, and he does have to protect it. He does with the Evo Witch. We need a Graveyard on top of the tower.
Poison down. Evo Snowball to clear. And Sub gonna take game number 1 away from Mugi and be 1 win away from eliminating. Hunter getting on tower. The RG happy to tank those shots. 18:05. Where do you see the biggest damage potential coming for Mugi in this one here, Josh, as he's have to play a lot of mortars on defense, skeleton barrel. Now he does get one up high. Do you think it's mostly the troops and skelly barrel stuff, or does he really need to get some mortar connections to win this one?
Yeah, he just needs to make sure that he's going both lanes. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Sub to stop it if he gets the correct pressure. And right here, we see that it should be a lock on top of the tower. It is. And now the left tower
does get taken off by an opportune Electro Spirit. 52 seconds left, dual lane pressure for Mugi.
Right there, the Spirit Goblin still getting some chip damage on top of the tower. Arrows coming in to take care of some of the rest of the troops. And that Monk just staying alive just a little bit is going to make Sub's life considerably easier.
RG should get one. And it does. 8:07 remaining.
Mugi just praying that he can get his troops on top of the tower. The bar barrel does get missed by a little bit. It's not going to be enough, though. 878 to 700. Going to cycle as quickly as he can, but so will Sub. And Sub going to take it 2-0 against Mugi.
A clean sweep.
SandBox going to be using a quick cycle hog with the Mighty Miner instead of the Monk, instead of some of the other champions that we're used to seeing. In this Firecracker and this hog, you're going to be winning by the 200 HP, the 300 HP type of games. And so for him to already take this huge chunk of damage, it's very worrisome if you're a Kitashiyan fan.
And now we got everything properly aligned. And you know, Josh, as I'm looking at this one, thinking about some of the all-time greatest glow-ups.
Sure. If we're saying Bar Barrel used to be 3 elixirs, so that's something. Why am I thinking bars? I'm going to have an answer for this eventually. I can think of glow downs super easily. When I think of glow downs, I think of the skeletons. Though it used to be 4 of those guys, now it's just 1. And right here, I mean, SandBox getting a ton of.
Even stop talking about the Evo side of it. The Knight just getting a little bit tankier, a little bit beefier, was huge, and it kind of supplanted what was a mainstay in the Ice Golem as a part of decks like this Hog deck.
Yeah.
So SandBox takes the chip lead, now has to deal with a fairly big situation. Fishboy will pull to the middle. And that's a nice Barb Barrel to try to get some cleanup here, and that E-Giant is going to do some real work on the left-hand side. Arrows come out, SandBox thirsting for Elixir, and now the Barb Barrel forced to use a Rage to clear. Going to have to distract with Skeletons. Does he have them? Goes with the, no, has to go Bomber up high for the distraction. And we're going to get some sizzle. That's going to get deep into the burn. Oh my word.
Chillin was so quick with the Barb Barrel. It's incredible to see these pros and the mind games that they just use against each other all the time.
And here goes SandBox trying to play the, well, whatever, just take my tower, I guess, game. And the sacrifice looks like it's going to work here. And this is one of those ones where I guess you have to make a choice, right? He made the choice to ignore that left-hand tower, but it's something special that we're still in a game here.
Yeah, and right there, using the lightning and the arrows, and quick with the golden knife. So this giant is going to make it to the tower. The towers plus the bomber. It's going to take it out, but no, that is a misplaced Goblin Cage. That P.E.K.K.A is putting in work.
And the Bomber gets one more shot in, 409 on the King Tower, and SandBox going to go pedal to the metal. Has lightning available, clearing stuff out. GG, well played, roar of victory from SandBox, who eliminates Kitashiyan. We've seen the Goblin Giant deck, and then like an Electro Giant, and that Giant deck once, but I really will say, I do think this has been kind of one of the narrowest metas. We did see the one Lava Hound, but so maybe it's more perception than reality when I'm talking about a narrow meta.
And right here, this is a pretty strong push. The Barb Barrel, it's really strong on defense. It's going to be kind of terrible on offense. And SandBox's entire game, it felt like he was just doing whatever he could.
And so now with a 3 elixir advantage, we'll see if Sub can continue. And yeah, that's going to be enough to finish this off. GG, well played. Game number 1 for Sub, and never broke a sweat despite the sweatshirt. But really 2023 was kind of the kickoff of his real competitive career. And he had some good moments here and there in 2023, but was again still just kind of on the outside looking in as a semi-pro. And then last year, big breakout box, although Elixir lead still potentially there. Cage high, needs to stop this hog. Evo Valk will do its job. SandBox probably has one good defense left that he needs to make. Does he hog under this, or does he just have to hold off against it?
SandBox doesn't have a ton of elixir right here. Sub electing to go in with the Skeleton Dragons instead of something different. And SandBox shaking his head.